Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of the Matt and John Make a Podcast. This is episode 83, and we got some interesting things to talk about here. We had some UFC news, as well as NFL free agency we're going to talk about, and other news there. But first, we want to get into, and yes, we actually are doing this the week of. Shocker. Yes, I know. But today as of recording Friday, yesterday when you're hopefully watching this on Saturday, the Falcon and the Winter Soldier debuted with their first episode on Disney Plus. And yes, what you think?
Definitely a lot different from like WandaVision from episode 1.
Yes.
Don't you think? Man.
Well, obviously.
Like just with the action scenes alone, like I felt like that I was watching Civil War or like Winter Soldier.
It felt like you were watching a movie.
It really did.
It was shot like you were watching a movie.
Right. And and they went right into it. They're like basically what, first or second scene, boom, let's go. And
it was pretty. I think the first one about flying out of the, stopping all that, the bad guys. I forget what group they said it was, but working with the military.
I want to say that they were like part of like Hydra or the remnants of Hydra there from
or
some research that I did about that,
or some splitter group. But this was a nice introduction into, even though not you can see people saying, well, not a lot happened. Well, no, crap, it's the first episode. A lot of introductory and more,
it's laying down the foundation here.
Yeah, like WandaVision did in its own way, which related back, and you obviously saw in later episodes, and everything was explained and why everything, how it was what it was. This was a good with both. They were both they're not together, they're separate. Falcon is working with the military.
Yep.
And we have a new little side character, but minor character here, in his partner in the army, in the military. They're fighting.
I'm supposed.
What is the new? What's that group they're trying to
Flag
fight?
Smashers.
Flag Smashers.
Yeah. Supposedly that guy. I think he was in the comics. He was like apparently his like heir apparent to become Falcon because at some point Falcon's going to be becoming Captain America, and the whole part of this episode was him not wanting to accept to be Captain's heir apparent like he wanted to, because he felt that the shield and everything about him was for like Steve, and like not him. But as we saw in this episode, Matt, we're seeing some more super soldiers that are being created here. So and how they introduce America introduced a new Captain America.
Was that a super soldier, or just somebody?
I think it is,
or just somebody playing it just have build support, because that guy looks like a dweeb off the thing.
I want to say he's probably a super soldier.
I see the bad guy as one.
Yeah. Oh yeah, definitely.
I see this Captain America. My first instinct,
a schmo,
a Joe Schmo, off the street, just to have a support, like a character, or a figurehead to help cheer up, bring morale back to the country after all the events of the blip.
And this is supposedly 6 months after everyone came back after
Yeah.
Endgame there. So like so pretty much the whole entire story is with this is that everyone is just really sad and like miserable right now.
Life is not fully obviously back.
No, it's like it's pretty rough and that was really described here, and like you saw the interactions with Sam and like his family and how they really described when he was gone for all that time, and they just said like, well, like you were gone all this time and you don't really understand everything that we went through, and it all led to them trying to like save his family's fishing
boat, fishing boat, fishing business,
right? And they tried getting a like loan from the bank, and the bank tells them, well, you haven't had any sort of income in the last 5 years, and one of the main reasons for that is because Sam he never got back in the military because if you recall from Civil War, he was always on Captain America's side, and they did not support that like whole bill where basically the United States would have complete control over what they did. So it's like so there was that whole thing going on, and then Matt, everything going on with Pucky and him having like PTSD there was pretty crazy, right?
And then they showed him a clip fighting targets, if you will, back when he was still under mind control with Hydra, and then running into this Asian guy, and why that's relevant in the moment, trying to get to his room. He wanted to go back to his room with a group of friends, that I guess on business, and wrong place, wrong time, and showed Bucky with the gun, obviously shoot him, and we meet the old man.
It's his father.
That ends up. I didn't put two together until I saw. I think the picture in his room.
Yeah.
Because I wasn't thinking, and then I saw, I was like, oh, okay, that makes sense. And then he went to pay for the dinner and stuff, and you just can tell that he fucked up. He doesn't know how to say it.
Yeah. Like he doesn't know how to tell him that, hey, I'm the one who killed your son because I was under mind control by Hydra, and eventually that's going to be a really hard conversation to have. And I do wonder how that's going to turn out.
Yeah.
But I am really excited to see eventually, once Falcon and like Winter Soldier finally team up, because they're eventually going to have to take on this flag smashers group here, and seeing how strong that these guys are, those action scenes are going to be freaking insane.
So I like the groundwork, and as you were talking, I found this BuzzFeed article, 25 Falcon and Winter Soldier details from episode 1 you might have missed the first time around, and I'm going through the early ones, and some of these, I did forget, and I think are pretty cool. I'll share some. So the first words we hear in the series are by Steve Rogers, and the conversation they have between Sam and Steve.
Yeah.
How does it feel like somebody else's, that whole thing.
Yeah.
And then the bag they showed Sam put it in is the same one Steve Rogers had at the end. So I thought I didn't even think of that. That was pretty cool. Lieutenant Joaquin Torres, the guy we were talking about, in the comics, he takes up the Falcon mantle.
As I said,
He becomes Captain America's sidekick.
which I do think is it absolutely is. I'm gonna happy because the fact that they are giving him this much screen time, like you don't freaking have that
right off the bat.
If unless you're going to really use him here.
Mm-hmm.
I definitely feel like that is going to happen. But man, he took a freaking ass kicking.
Yeah.
When that super soldier just beat the crap out
trying
of him.
to infiltrate that group.
Right.
Yeah.
It was just that was I'm really excited to see when those two exactly fight. Oh, but where it was weird on the opening scene seeing GSP as a like bad guy. I think he was. I want to say that he was in like Winter Soldier.
It was. I was just gonna get to that.
I was gonna say
because he's the leader. I didn't even notice that was GSP.
Yep.
The leader of the LAF cell.
Yeah.
That's the name of his group.
Okay.
So, first seen in Winter Soldier, and it was in a parallel here. It says in a cool parallel, but the first fight scene in Falcon and the Winter Soldier is Sam fighting Batroc,
Yeah.
and in Captain America: The Winter Soldier, the first fight scene is between Steve and Batroc again. So that was cool. The Flag Smasher's name, in Marvel Comics, Flag Smasher is someone who clashes with Captain America. His goal is to liberate Earth from national rule. They did mention
and to that
whole thing about
and
no
supposedly
borders.
At the very end when they showed that Captain America, apparently he's like one, like in the comics he was like one of like Captain's biggest enemies, as far as like he's a more sadistic, he's more willing to like kill someone if it meant doing so. I do wonder if that dude is a Shimo, or if it's actually him, and they're just not gonna and he's going to show his abilities over time here as this series goes on here. And guys, keep in mind too, only 6 episodes for this season, so we're gonna be getting a lot, I feel, in every episode here, just because of the fact that like there's only 6, whereas in like WandaVision there was like 9 episodes there. So what was there anything else that really caught your what did you think about the scenes with Pucky with this therapist?
I thought they were very, very interesting, and just show you the grip that Bucky is trying to come to terms with, that like the extreme PTSD, and just doesn't know how to adapt to a new life. And I also forgot that he's like, so many goddamn things we have to remember, like in this whole thing. There's so much that he's like actually 100 years old.
Yep. I mean, he was, because when World War II happened, or was it when World War II happened, I mean, he was like 17 at the time. Right.
So, yeah, I think.
Or if it was during World War I, which I think that, as far as the timeline goes, makes a little bit more sense, just because of the age gap there. But it's like you really see just how hard he's trying to like manage all of that stress, and just dealing with his mind being taken over, being captured by the Red Skull, and then eventually getting killed. So we thought, it turned out he would eventually become the Winter Soldier. But something I'm really excited for is to see the comedy between him and Sam, because if you recall from Civil War, like that were some of the most hilarious scenes. There was just those two constantly just some pickering at each other, and just based on some of the actual trailers, like they were pretty funny there too. So episode 2, we'll see what happens, but did you see what the title name of this
The New
episode
World.
was? Yep.
Yeah.
The New World Order, baby. The NWO.
For life.
For life, baby.
So the new Captain America, the character I just looked up is named John Walker.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, so yeah, guys, a pretty solid episode we felt. I do think too that these episodes are going to be consistent or around like 50 minutes, just because again they are only 6 episodes here. So yeah, we'll see what happens with that. So yeah, Matt, do you want to move on to some NFL talk right now?
I just realized.
What?
Guess what I didn't do?
What?
Flip.
Way to go. Way to.
Well, you didn't notice either, so.
Yeah.
So, shut up.
Okay.
Oh, I had UFC. Well, let's go UFC.
Okay, so.
Because I'm not flipping through this again.
Yeah.
God damn it.
God, we are professionals here.
No, we're not, apparently.
Apparently not. All right, so yeah, guys, some huge news that came out late last night. Habib has officially announced his retirement, although he essentially said this after his final fight back in October. But now for like the last 6 or 7 months, Dana has been trying to convince him to come in and fight again, but now he has officially relinquished his title, and now we are going to be getting Michael Chandler versus Charles Oliveira on like May 15th, which, by the way, is going to be in like Houston full capacity, along with UFC also announcing on Tuesday they are going to be in Jacksonville full capacity for that card. So like those two things right there, Matt, are some huge news coming out, because on April 24th, this will in fact be the very first full capacity crowd in over a like freaking year. Like
Yeah.
do you think that it's too soon, or do you think that we're okay enough?
I think full capacity, maybe a tad bit too soon.
Mm-hmm.
But as long as mask enforcement is enforced, then maybe it'll be okay.
It won't be in like Houston. It won't be in
I mean,
Houston.
Technically, well, it's not enforced. It's not required in the state. But I feel like, I don't know. I feel like, can't UFC say whether or not what they want?
They can.
You can control what you have in your own show. Like,
have a feeling, and I'm hoping that they do that, because that's at least being responsible there. Even though, like, you know, everyone is getting vaccinated more. There you go, buddy. But
and it kicked my ass.
Yeah, that was rough. But as far as like Habib goes, I completely expected this. This was just a matter, I feel, of like when and not if. He seemed pretty convinced, and if like you heard guys such as like DC and like Josh Thompson, who have been friends and teammates of like his since the very start. His father passing was absolutely huge. And I and and once that happened, he and like his mom, more specifically, she did not want him fighting unless like he was there. So that was pretty much that. And as we have been seeing, he's been taking on pretty much his like father's legacy as far as like being a like head coach now. His cousin is gonna be fighting in like Bellator, and think in like a few weeks here. We saw him in Islam's corner a few weeks ago when he fought on UFC 259, I think it was. Yeah, on UFC 259. So and to me, he really doesn't have anything left to really accomplish. Yeah, if he would have if he would have had like 2 or 3 more successful title defenses, I feel like his legacy as far as an all-time great would be more cemented. But to me, he, as far as in 155, his legacy is set in stone there. And honestly, there's maybe 1 or 2 fights possibly that you can really say, oh, okay, we can probably have that. I mean, he's beaten essentially everyone at this point. So yeah, so that was official. And also as we talked earlier, we are having April 24th that full capacity crowd in like Jacksonville, where it's gonna be headlined by Usman versus George Masvidal. We're also seeing Zhang Wei Li versus I'm trying to think. Oh yeah, versus Rose, and we're also seeing Valentina Shevchenko versus Jessica Andrade versus Andrade on the card. So Matt, 3 title fight card again, which this has to be a first where we have had 2
back to back,
or I'm trying. No, because the like next card is in. I want to say it's in a week or 2. I'm trying to think who's being headlined. Who's headlining that? Oh yeah, Stipe is I think it's a week from today, Saturday. So yeah, a lot of title fights are coming up there, and man, I'm really interested to see what that crowd is going to really be like. It's gonna feel so odd just seeing a sellout. I want to see if it's going to actually sell out, if people are going to actually go and see what that is going to be actually like. And I can't wait for it. I'm ready for things to get back into somewhat of normalcy. As we said, everyone is getting slowly more and more vaccinated. Which, by the way, are you feeling better now after the episode?
Yeah, I was fine late that day.
Yeah, because you were like,
it was death.
Yeah,
you were
like, oh man, you were like, this fucking sucks.
No, it was worse than when I had COVID. Let me tell you.
Yeah.
Headache, no energy, slight dizziness, nausea when I stood up. When I laid down, it was fine. Bad chills. Not too long after I came home from the bonfire, woke up, fell asleep, woke up, and couldn't stop shaking. Like,
that's
couldn't stop shaking.
I've heard that pretty much from everyone who's had the Johnson. Like they've just been really struggling. After that, I mean, like, I mean, like you like seemed fine, but then once I heard from you,
I felt fine leaving, and mine not have been like 3 hours later that I woke up and just shaking. I felt like if there was an Academy Award for best reaction to bad guy injecting good guy with poison on an interrogation table, I would have won because I had the best reaction.
What was the funniest part though is I think it was like later the following day or whatever, and you were like, you posted on Facebook, oh, in case anyone cared, I'm feeling good. I'm like, you were such a freaking drama queen.
It's not drama.
Yeah, you were so over the freaking top with it. My dad even said that. He was like, man, we should call
that was the opposite.
Shakespeare.
That was the opposite of drama.
Yeah, I guess it like came off. It came off.
I was saying not to go like woe is me and go if anybody cares, I'm feeling fine. Yeah, that's what it was. Not
it just like it
wasn't drama.
Like,
if I went like
context, yes.
That's what I was. That's I don't know how you.
Yeah, I interpreted it a little bit differently, but
yeah, of course you did. There was no way it was. And if I went, oh my God, I can't believe it, I'm finally feeling better.
God, I'm alive.
Then yes, but like I went if anybody cares because I'm not making a big deal out of it.
No. But
I don't know how you see it. Well, we had different English teachers.
Yeah. Just a little bit, but yeah, guys. So that was some of the like UFC news, and now we're going to move on to the craziness that was the NFL, and there is a like reason I am wearing a Juju jersey because Jesus Christ, Matt, this whole thing, this whole entire week was just an utter shit show. Like
I haven't. I mean, honestly, I haven't really cared.
Oh God, it's been insufferable to be perfectly honest. But as far as the Steelers were concerned, pretty much everything that happened is kind of what I expected.
Yes.
Except for Juju, I did not think that he was going to be coming back, but he officially yesterday when this podcast drops, he re-signed with the Steelers for a very team friendly deal where he supposedly had more compelling offers from Kansas City, Philadelphia, and also with the Baltimore Ravens.
I heard $1 million difference.
Well, there was
from Baltimore.
There was more incentives added on top of that. So like he was technically
look like there was a lot more.
Yeah.
Suffer's making it sound like it was like significant.
No, but like
they were offering him like 15 and Steelers said 8.
No, I want to say that Kansas City offered him around 13, maybe. I don't
know. I didn't see that, but they didn't. Okay,
I can't recall.
More significant.
But they were definitely paying, or they were offering him more. And so he signs with the Steelers 1 year, $8 million. And I was, first of all, when that dropped, I didn't think that was even possible, even true. And then we come to find out before then that the Steelers are shopping Steven Nelson, who asked for, or who essentially asked for a trade, and some are speculating that it has to do with him wanting a contract extension, and supposedly the Steelers weren't really interested right now. So they have that. So they have that happening, and if they can trade him, I think they would shave off $8 million off the salary cap there, which would then give them some like flexibility to make a like another move here, which with them cutting
I guess it washes it out.
Yeah,
8-8. I think you're back to square one.
Yeah, I think so, but
you lose an 8, you're gaining 8.
Yeah, and like Vince Williams, he got released there, which I kind of had a feeling that was going to be a possibility, just based on everything that was happening, and we also re-signed Cam Sutton, which I was very happy to see there, but like losing Hilton to Cincinnati hurt. That really hurt. And losing obviously Dupree, who signed a huge deal with the Tennessee Titans, which I kind of had a feeling that was probably where he was going to end up. And just like judging from his press conference earlier today on Friday, this was pretty much the only spot where he was really focused on coming to, and he instructed his agent to pretty much make it happen. But as we look at the Steelers now, Matt, it's going to be interesting because I wonder what their draft strategy is going to be, because I feel like with them resigning Juju, I don't think they attack. I don't think they attack wide receiver now.
I don't think no.
I think if
they should have.
Yeah,
were going to in the beginning. I never thought that.
I thought that they might possibly, but now with this, and on top of that too, we have the TV contracts now, which were freaking just ridiculous, who are not going to be part of Amazon Prime on for like Thursday Night Football. I'm begging. I think it's in 2023. So like that's, I think, partially why we saw like Juju resign on a like 1-year deal, because I feel like, Matt, for next year the like salary cap, that thing is going to go way up, just based on that, because I want to say that the NFL is getting like, I think it's like $2 billion per season or something like that, but it's some crazy insane number there, but there's that, and as I looked at like free agency for everyone else, New England pretty much just signed every single person known on this market here. Like they signed, it's like 1, 2, 3, 4. It's like 4 high tier free agents. Two of them being Jonnu Smith and also Hunter Henry.
I honestly didn't know they were big names.
I
don't know that.
Yeah,
this is all you.
Just they paid a lot of money for them. Like I think like Jonnu is like top 3 most highly paid tight end now. I think the only guys who are getting paid more actually are Kittle and Travis Kelce. So they were really busy. They also signed up Jalen Mills, and like Matthew and also Matthew Judon, who was an outside linebacker for the Ravens there. But like Filer, he signed with the LA Chargers, who I feel like that they like really overpaid for him. He got like $7 million per season on a like 3-year deal. Good luck, but like I feel like that they really paid a ton for him. And we also saw just some other signings too. Gronkowski, he re-signed with Tampa Bay. Chris Godwin, he also re-signed with Tampa Bay. Trent Williams signed a huge deal with the San Francisco 49ers. I believe he's now is the highest paid left tackle now, which which he deserves every single penny of that. Just a really elite tackle right there. And the San Francisco 49ers really solidified that offense line with him, and also signed center Alex Mack, who was on the Falcons when Kyle Shanahan was the OC there in their Super Bowl year there. So that was a good sign for them. And I touched on like Hilton. He signed with the Cincinnati Bengals. I was really just hoping that if he was going to sign somewhere, that it would have been outside of the AFC North, but it looks like that like Cincinnati was the most interested in him there. That was a sign that kind of surprised me was Aaron Jones staying with the Green Bay Packers. I definitely thought he was going to go somewhere else. For some reason, there were people thinking, oh, like he's going to be signed with the Steelers, which I would like with what cash, fake Monopoly money or something. Like I'm just like in the contract that like he got, I was like, and you people thought that we were going to pay anything even remotely near to that. So yeah, he stayed there. And this thing is constantly is ongoing here. We're going to see in the next few days if the Steelers make a few more moves, if they do in fact deal if they in fact do deal Nelson there. So I'm really interested to see that there. So yeah, that was pretty much everything with NFL free agency. And as far as the TV contracts go, Matt, what do you make of them signing on with Amazon for like Thursday Night Football? And also too Sunday NFL ticket is going to ESPN Plus now.
Streaming is the future. There you go.
Yeah,
that's my thought. That's my thought. Streaming is the future.
Mm-hmm.
With the Thursday night games, with the exception of in-market games being on a actual TV. I can't believe I just said actual TV.
Yeah.
That's big there. Just streaming. Other football games, I think I read, will be on ESPN Plus.
Yep.
ESPN is having more Monday night doubleheaders.
And two, they're now able to flex out games now, which thank you. Like how many times have we seen like just horrible games on that night, and it's been really hurting with their ratings there. So it's like I'm just really happy. I'm just really happy.
Seems better overall deal for everybody.
And also to ABC and ESPN are also going to be getting a few Super Bowls.
I think too. ABC going to be back on ABC. I believe since the first time since 2006.
Yep.
I believe.
Which I believe
that was Steelers in Seattle.
Yep. Super Bowl 40s.
Back when Al Michaels and John Madden called that game.
And I believe actually that was actually Madden's final game too. As a commentator on top of that. So
might have been, yeah.
Yeah. I wonder if they're going to keep the same crew as they do on ESPN, or if they would go if they would go somewhere else.
No.
But again,
they'll keep the same crew.
Yeah, and Steve Levy is pretty damn good. And as like we were saying, we are hoping for like hockey that he'll be calling.
He can probably he can pull both.
I would hope so. They're in two completely different seasons there.
Yep. Well, hockey. Well, technically, hockey's still going on in February.
Well, like as far as the Stanley Cup. As the Stanley Cup Finals and
that I'm just talking about like ESPN calling games anyways, but yeah, I think it's gonna be interesting. But the way when I got out of reading this news is that streaming, they're going all in on the streaming.
You really have to wonder how much longer cable is going to be existing.
You're gonna probably pay for off the screen here.
Mm-hmm.
Behind the camera we're watching March Madness, and I guess that'd be a good segue into because we're pretty much done with the NFL besides this topic, right?
Yeah.
So it'd be a good segue into March Madness. I'll just switch the picture now. Is that I'm watching it on Roku through Xfinity's app. I wouldn't be surprised if 10 years from now, I'll give it that Comcast, it's just going to be, there's going to be no cables coming in your house, just with the exception of Wi-Fi.
Mm-hmm.
You'd be paying a thing for Wi-Fi and then buying a monthly tiered subscription for cable. I would say 10 years. I think more people will stream their cable, lack for a better phrase, cable provider with different channels to see. But how many? But on the flip side of that, how many of you've got your Paramount, that CBS, you've got your Peacock, NBC, you have Disney Plus,
HBO Max
with all that, with movies. With Fox probably more so Hulu, because Disney has Fox, so more Hulu type of thing. All the four major networks in their subordinate channels, if you will. Like CBS, you have March Madness is CBS, TBS, TNT, True TV. I think it's all under the same umbrella.
Yep.
Does that all go to your favorite shows, are just going to, instead of being Thursday at 9 prime time, it's going to be, they're going to release Thursday at 9 streaming, and then you could still have your weekly episodic TV, but instead of cable, it's you're watching it streamed over the internet at your own convenience.
I think it's possible because
I think that is the way of the future.
Yeah, well, and we're seeing as far as like live TV, it's not as popular as it was, say, in the early 2000s and the like late 90s,
Or even, hell, even 10 years ago.
Yeah.
Nobody. I keep saying it. 10 years ago, what we just had, we had Netflix, still had DVD, I think, as an option. Even a little bit 10 to 15 years ago, wasn't as big. Now you kind of, I read the timeline of like Netflix and all that the other day, and it was just interesting how I think it got founded in like '98 or something, really popular.
Yeah,
mid
because
2000s with their DVDs.
Yeah, actually, like Blockbuster actually they had a chance to actually acquire them, and they
Somebody feeling stupid now.
and they never really did, and which style turned out to be the thing that put them out of business.
Yeah, it's like,
there.
oh, nobody's
Yeah.
gonna stream. Yes.
Yeah.
Crap. What was I gonna say?
Netflix. Yeah.
Netflix kind of was just getting going. You still had like 10 years ago, Blu-rays were like a big thing. Again, Blu-ray players. I just feel like Blu-ray came and went as quickly as possible compared to DVDs.
Yeah. It just well at the time too. It was so obsolete. It's just like, well, like everything's going completely
Yeah.
digital,
Because
now,
you still had, the movie released on DVD, Blu-ray, and on digital, which at the time I always had it like, why do I want to buy a movie just digitally? Because it was, you buy digitally, you can watch it on your phone, but who wants to do that? Like, or your laptop? Like, it was still buy DVD, make some popcorn, sit on the couch and watch it on your big screen. When the movie came out. Now nobody gives two rats' asses about a Blu-ray player.
No.
Nobody, you don't hear anybody talk about, oh, I need to get upgrade my DVD. I need Blu-ray to put it on my 4K, which they do look amazing, by the way, on a 4K TV. I've even if it's not a 4K, it was a Blu-ray, and then it was like a 4K HD Blu-ray you had to get. Now everything is streaming now. Look at most recent example, and I like it's Marsh Madness behind us. We're not talking about it yet, but it's still relevant. Snyder's cut of the Justice League, which is fucking 4 hours long.
Yeah, I haven't gotten
gotten yet.
to like that yet, but
I didn't have time. I want to watch the original Justice League again, just to compare it, so I have something to compare it to, because I totally forget how the first Justice League movie went.
apparently, from a like few like friends of mine have told me this one is far superior. Which
4 hours.
Yeah, which if it's 4 hours, it better be the best damn TV I've watched. But
it's just, I don't know, the fact that this is I don't know, the fact it's a thing, but yeah, but like, just me, you get that, you have all these movies coming out, especially this year, pandemic wise, which I think it's accelerating this path of streaming.
Well, yeah, because pretty much any sort of like DVD or like video that was left, man, like it's if they're not completely out, I mean, they have to be pretty damn close now.
I'm interested. I gotta go because you don't see a lot of people. I just don't see a lot of people. I got to look at like the video section of on Walmart or any other local store and just see, do people still buy? I don't. Maybe there's always a portion. Maybe I guess the older population's probably still buying stuff because I mean, streaming is not always just universal anymore. It's becoming more accessible, be it a smartphone or a Roku stick or just a plain smart TV.
Yeah, I mean, I'll tell you, with like my parents, they haven't bought a DVD in the years now, especially now since they have a like a Roku TV
I'm
there.
Trying to remember the last DVD I bought or got.
Yeah, for me, it was a like a wrestling DVD. I forget what exactly, but this was like before the network came in like once that came, I was like, well, it's might have been pointless at that point.
You know what? It might have been, to the best of my knowledge, Star Wars Episode 7, because I bought that on DVD.
Yeah,
that might have been it.
Yeah, I mean, it's just, and at the time, I mean, like I saw, I mean, even like in 2016, I was like, these things aren't really selling, and like just with like Hulu and like Netflix, eventually
you got Prime, Coming to America too, which I still want to watch too, and I want to watch the first one. I don't think I saw the whole first one, but I want to watch the first one again, to refresh. Amazon Prime, and that's all you can. That's where you can watch it.
Yeah.
It's not theaters. It's Prime.
Yeah.
So Amazon struck that deal, and to relate this actually back to March Madness, and we'll talk about this. The app, March Madness app on your phone, you can watch all the game. You don't need the TV. You can watch all the games here.
Yeah.
They have the fast break. Keep up with every game. You can watch 4 games in one stream.
Mm-hmm.
So. It's all a commercial. So I can sit here and just watch everything. It's like Red Zone.
Yep.
Pretty much.
Which I think, speaking of them, I think they're also going to ESPN.
I hope so.
Plus, which I'm sure like you will be ecstatic.
I would be ecstatic because just here we don't want our cable bill is already too high.
Yeah. And, because I was shocked that you didn't have that. I was like,
no, because just the package we have, it's way too high.
Yeah.
And adding another, even though it's $10,
mm-hmm.
but still adding more, it's never good. So if it's included in ESPN Plus, which I obviously already have paid for. And are paying for with, I guess, the Disney bundle.
And even
if I don't have to pay,
it's not though. Every single game is.
But even not, then
it's like right there too.
Right. Even if, right. I think for the most part, I would. It's weird. I would pay $10 for that, even not to include in the bill. But I'm okay with doing it myself. I don't know. It's optically for me makes sense. I know it may not makes it sound makes sense, but it'd be better for me because I wanted another. I would pay the $10 if it was on another way, at least for me to do it without having to go through the cable.
Right.
But if it was somehow it was included in the ESPN Plus, when. Or something.
Hell, NHL on ice it is also going there, and when they first announced it for the NFL, I was like, man, DirecTV took a major hit once that was announced because that was a really big part of their whole selling point for customers there. And now, man, you can only imagine how many people are just gonna be canceling their cable packages with them, because I feel like that probably a good reason why a lot of people probably had them was probably because of the Sunday NFL ticket there. So,
and I'm trying to slowly save this from March Madness here to talk, but again, it kind of just started. But we did have
Ohio State went down
Ohio State,
against
against
Oral Roberts,
Oral
right?
Roberts. Yes,
Jesus.
we had, what was the finals here? Oh, the wrong way. Of course I did. Yeah, Florida. So far, this is as of 7:30 on Friday. We had Florida narrowly went against VT, Virginia Tech 75-70. Arkansas beat Colgate total. Just Colgate 85-68. Illinois blew past Drexel 78-49. Texas Tech beat Utah State 65-53. And for previously mentioned, Roberts beating Ohio State by 3, 75-72 in overtime. Baylor breezed through Hartford 79-55. Whatever Chicago, I can never for some reason say the name.
Loyola.
There you go. 71-60 Georgia Tech. The Cinderella team from last year or 2 years ago actually. That's weird saying that because we never had one last year.
Nope.
And Oregon State beating Tennessee 70-56 with the upset there, and then other games in progress as we speak. But that is so far, as of this recording, what is happening. So one major upset, which was fun at the end. But we did not do a bracket.
No, I'll be honest. I have watched very little college basketball this year.
I just know that a lot of people, there wasn't not one dominant team that you're like.
No,
it was a lot of people were losing
this year.
Yeah,
like and definitely I feel like COVID just really hurt a lot of teams this year. I mean, like and just talking about the ACC specifically, they just pretty much jumped right into conference play, and there were just so many teams just trying to still figure each other out.
Duke didn't make the tournament. Kentucky,
again. Like
gonna play Robert Morris.
When
again?
was the last year that both Duke and Kentucky were not in?
Oh,
the
they
NCAA
said
tournament?
it was like a long time
It
ago.
had to have been
70. Was it for some reason 70s coming to mind?
Has to be
74. I could be totally wrong.
It's just like I've never. I mean, just thinking that neither Duke or Kentucky are in the tournament is pretty damn insane. But it was a crazy year, and just the overall interest I felt in college basketball hasn't been all that high. I really feel like too with COVID just really hurt college sports in like general. Football, it really did hurt. Well, yeah, I mean it was still pretty popular, but compared to like years past,
I think everybody's it just felt weird.
Yeah,
I don't think anything just felt normal.
no.
Even though it was normal to see stuff, because at least football, you had crowds, you didn't have crowds, and it was, still coming the spike, the bigger spike, at least locally here, more cases.
November,
December, January. Yeah. They've been going down, since that spike.
Hopefully by this fall we're pretty much back into.
Plus, there wasn't no vaccine.
Right. Whereas like now, people are getting
baseball. I think you're going to see more normalcy.
Because I think for the Pirates,
it's 50%.
It's 50%.
I think, including staff and players, but still, I think that. I saw a tweet that the Tigers are letting people in. Like, I think there could be more fans. It's still going to be weird.
Everywhere except for California.
Yeah.
Did you see? They were like mandate. Oh, if you were on a roller coaster, do like not shout on the roller coaster.
I think it was Japan. Yeah.
No, and no, that was in the California.
I swore Japan had that too.
They might too, but
that was like a long ago.
But
I thought that was months ago.
It's still hilarious because somehow, man, if you scream, "Oh, that is how the virus is going to spread there," it just all sounds so ridiculous to me.
Just like when you have to have food with your drink, and
I was just about to bring that up
because you can't don't sit at the bar spaced out, because if you sit at the bar, you should be able to sit at the bar and I'll give you have to eat food with it. You can't just sit there and drink forever. But like
not sitting at the bar,
but I sit down and we have to keep our plates or appetizer plates there, so we have food per se there, so we can sit and just drink. But you know what? What's the difference between eating, without a mask and talking, and drinking without a mask and talking? And because I did that last night after my last day with doing stuff with the school event I had to work. We went out to the Applebee's.
Why did you say the Applebee's for?
Why are we saying the Ohio State for?
Because that is
it's Ohio State University.
That's what people call it. It's the Ohio State.
Well, I'm calling
University.
it the Applebee's because
who says the Applebee's?
I do. It deserves respect. There's no.
No.
You just it deserves
You
respect.
are just making things up at this point.
Well, people are making up the Ohio State.
No, that has been a thing for a long time. This is just something that you just made up off the cusp of your ass here.
Well, that kind of hurt. But somebody had to make up the Ohio State too at the time. Why are you calling it the Ohio State? Now it caught on. It's the Applebee's. There's only one Applebee's like it. None. Anyways, I don't know why you had to pick that.
Because it was dumb.
How was it? It wasn't dumb.
Who says the Applebee's? No one except for you, which explains.
It was one time, and you're like, why are you saying that?
Because it makes no sense.
Drama queen over here.
Hey, it's like drama king. Get it right.
It's more insulting when you switch the other gender.
Not really.
Well, if I say drama queen, you're like, you're a guy, and implies I'm calling you a woman. That should be offensive.
You like sexist.
Oh, I'm sorry. You're a drama royalty. We're non-binary here.
All right. Well,
we got on. See, this is okay. We are. See, if you're watching this and you're rolling your eyes and go, "This is a pointless conversation." Yes, it is. This is what we do. We argue about pointless, stupid crap that it shouldn't.
It's a
matter.
friendship right there, but
it's pointless. A friendship is pointless. It's like a Seinfeld episode. There's no point. Yeah. Anyways, let's get back on to pretty much wrapped it up.
Yeah. So as far as like March Madness, again, overall interest not exactly high. I'll still watch.
I put parlays on. I'm interested, but it's not as in depth.
No,
like I'm game by game. Well, if I have a parlay, but some games
in the years past we were like,
because right now I would be maybe
glued. But it's just I'm definitely hoping for next year when things are a little bit back.
I would assume
normal,
next year,
that I'll be a little bit more intrigued, but that's kind of how things are. But yeah, Matt. If there is nothing else, I think we should cap it off there.
Yeah. Yeah. So this was 83. Thanks for watching. A little over the place, even though we had March Madness on the background, but it is what it is. So yeah. Obviously, behind us is Twitter handle at MJ Make a Podcast. You're gonna see a lot of just basically UFC tweets when UFC fights, wrestling tweets. Yeah, you're gonna see that. Give us a follow. 83. We had our wrestling podcast back this week. after SmackDown at usually every Friday at 10 o'clock, or just about after that. Talking about Raw, SmackDown, NXT, AEW, and any other news that happens that week, or any previews for any pay-per-views. So that always happens every Friday, at least for the foreseeable future. Again, anybody who watched, thanks for watching for that. For John, I'm Matt, and thanks for watching again. Like, comment, and subscribe, and we'll see you next week.